Magandang araw po sa ating lahat. So, sa bagong taong ito, papasok po tayo sa second reading o ikalawang markahan para po sa taong ito ng 2020 to 2021 ng school year. So, para po sa second reading ng ating mathematics, papasok po tayo sa dalawang lesson. Una, ang variation at ang pangalawa ay ang radicals. So, para po sa ating unang lesson, para sa linggong ito, pag-aaralan po natin ang direct at inverse variation. So, ano nga bang pinagkaiba ng mga ito? At paano nga ba natin masasagutan yung mga modules natin? Lalo na yung mga modules na pinadala para sa Region 4A ng Calabarzon. So, let's see now the difference of direct variation and inverse variation. So, when you say direct variation, as one variable increases, the other variable will also increase. So you see the word increase and increase. So if your variable y increases, the variable x will also increase. Halimbawa, ang variable y natin is yung electric consumption ng isang appliance. So ito yung y. Tataas siya kung the length of time. This is our variable x. If the length of time used also increases. So, mas matagal mong ginamit ang appliance, mas mataas ang electric consumption niya. Okay? As for inverse, as one variable increases, the other variable naman will decrease. Okay? So, kung mag-increase yung isang variable naman ay magdi-decrease. If your variable y increases, your variable x will decrease. So, for example, your variable y is the time it takes to paint. Bawa yung classroom nyo, yung time will be your variable y. Then, the number of men who will paint will be the variable x. For example, there will be 3 men that will paint the classroom. For example, it will take them 5 hours. For example, dadagdagan natin siya ng 2. For example, it will become 5. What will happen to the time? Will the time also increase or it will decrease? Yes. Dahil mas madami na yung nagtatrabaho, magde-decrease na yung time. So, for example, magagawin ilang hours na lang siya. It depends, okay? So, bababa yung number of hours natin dahil dinagdagan natin yung men na magtatrabaho. So, again, when direct variation, as one variable increases, your other variable will also increase. As for your inverse, as your one variable increases, the other variable will decrease. Okay, let's have the direct difference of these two. Okay, so when you say direct variation, this is how you're going to state it. Y varies directly as x, or y is directly proportional to x. As for the inverse, you have y varies inversely as x, or y is inversely proportional to x. See the two words that were used, directly, inversely, directly proportional, or inversely proportional. So if we're going to write that, we're going to write it as y is equal to k times x for our direct. Where your k is the constant of the variation. Mamaya makita natin what is this constant. Then, we have y is equal to k over x for our inverse. So, that's y varies inversely. Tingnan natin po yung difference. And then, your k is the constant. So, again, pag directly, we have y equals to kx. For inversely, we have y is equal to k over x. Now, what's the difference in their graph? We're going to graph a direct variation. It will be a straight line like this. Then for inverse, it will be a smooth curve like this. Now, let's have a specific examples that we have from our module. We have our direct variation. Y varies directly as x. So we have y is equal to 12 when x is equal to 4. Okay, so we are going to write first y varies directly as x. Y is equal to kx. And to find the constant of the variation for direct, we're just going to divide both sides by x. So, to find the constant, that is y over x. To find our constant. So, to find the constant here, we have here your y is equal to 12. And your x is 4. So, that means 12 divided by 4, that's 3. The constant of the variation is 3. We're going to write k is equal to 3. That is the constant. Now, what is the equation? Now, instead of writing y is equal to kx, which is y is directly proportional to x, we're now going to substitute. Instead of k, we already have here your k, which is 3. So, we're going to write y is equal to k, which is 3x. Now, for our third question, what is x when y is equal to 36? So, we have here already, our equation is y is equal to 3x. The statement says that you're going to find your x when y is 36. So, instead of writing y, susulat natin 36 is equal to 3x. So, paano natin makukuha yung x? So, divide natin both sides by 3. So, 36 divided by 3. So, that is x is equal to 12. Yan po. So, yan po pinakita natin doon sa module natin. So, yan po yung explanation paano nakuha yung answers doon sa module. So, let's have other examples that you can use this one to answer our activity number 1. So, we have here y varies directly as x. So, y is equal to kx. Again, paano ulit natin makukuha yung constant pag direct? K is equal to y over x. So, for this example, we need to find for sure k. And then, we are going to substitute the value x to find the value of y. So, for example, for a, if y is 15 when x is 3. So, we need to find for sure k. That is y over x. Ang y natin ay 15 at ang x natin ay 3. So, ibig sabihin, ang ating k ay 5. So, from our equation now, so our k is 5x. And we need to substitute our x. So, find now y when x is 9. So, y is equal to 5. Our x is 9. And 5 times 9 is 45. And that is the answer for this question. Next, the same process. So, we need to find your k. So, that's y over x. Our y is 130. And our x is 10. So, 130 divided by 10, that is 13. So, we go again to our equation. Y is equal to, instead of k, we're going to write 13x. So, y is equal to, what daw is y when x is 5? So, 13 times 5. So, 13 times 5 will be 65. And that is the answer for this question. Next, same process again. So, to find our k, that is y over x. Our y is 18, where our x is 2. So, 18 divided by 2. So, 18 and 2. So, that is 9. And after that, we substitute our k. Instead of writing k, we're going to write 9x. It says, what is y when x is negative 4? So, we're going to substitute your x with negative 4. So, 9 times negative 4, that is negative 36. That is our answer for this one. So, you can use this one, these examples to answer our activity number 1. So, let's have now the examples naman for inverse variation. Again, this example was, I got this from the module. O, nakuha natin ito sa module. Explain lang natin paano nga ba nakuha yung sagot na nasa module. So, we have here y varies inversely. as x. So if we're going to write that, we have on the previous slide, y is equal to k over x. Now, for inversely, to find the constant, we're now going to multiply y and x. So kanina, nag-divide tayo. Ngayon naman, magmumultiply para makuha natin yung constant. So the first question is find the constant of the variation. So we have here the constant is y times x since it's already inversely. So we have y is 20 and our x is 8. So 20 times 8, that is 160. And this is our constant of the variation. Since you already have the constant, so instead of writing y is equal to k over x, susulat na natin y is equal to our k is 160 over x. And this is the equation of the variation or the variation equation. After that, we need to find y when x now is 16. So we already have the equation 160 over x. So we need to find y naman. So y is equal to 160 and our x is 16. So 160 divided by 16, that is 10. So y is equal to 10. Yan. So that is the explanation on module on inverse variation. So, kuha po tayo na ibang example. Then, we can use again this one to answer our activity number 1. So, we have here y varies inversely as x. Again, pag inversely, to find the constant, that is y times x. So, the same process a while ago. So, we need to find the value of y here, given that y and x from the first one. So, we need to find again the constant muna. So, y times x. Our y here is 12 and our x is negative 6. So, that means the constant is negative 72. So, we already have the constant. So, we will write it as y is equal to negative 72 over x. And we need to find y when x is 9. So, we simply substitute the x. So, y is equal to negative 72 divided by 9. And negative 72 divided by 9 is negative 8. Okay. We proceed to the second. So, same process. We need to get the constant. That is by multiplying y and x. Our y is 15. And ang x natin ay 4. So, 15 times 4 is 60. That is the constant of the variation. So, we need to get now, the equation is, the constant is 60, then over x. We need to find now y when x is 12. So, 60 divided by 12, the value of our y is 5. Okay. Again, same process. We have to get the constant first. So, y times x. Our y is 18. And our x is 5. So, 18 times 5, that is 90. Ang constant of variation natin ay 90. So, ang equation na natin magiging 90 over x. Next, we need to find your y when x now is 2/3. So, since it's a fraction, okay, write po natin siya 90 times, we get the reciprocal. So, that's 3 over 2. So, 90 times 3, that is 270. 270 divided by 2 is 135. So, again, itong mga example na to ay pang-inversely. So, yung kanina naman po ay pang-direct variation. Again, two different examples. Kindly look the difference between the two. Kailan natin gagamitin yung direct at ito pong inverse variation. Yan. Punta naman po tayo sa how are we going to answer the learning task 1A. So if you're going to look on the module learning task 1A, okay, we have here your values of your y, x, and k, and equation. So if you're going to answer this, you're going to answer this by line. Again, by line po. So yung 1A po natin ay direct variation. So y is equal to k times x. So para makuhulat ang constant, pag direct, that is y divided by x. Let's have the first line. So ito po yun. So, ang nawawala po dito is the constant and the equation. So, constant. So, we need to find the constant. So, it's y divided by x. So, ang gagawin po natin, divide lang natin. Yung y natin ay 20 at ang x ay 4. So, 20 divided by 4, we have 5. So, ang constant natin ay 5. Next, the equation is y is equal to kx. Our k now is 5. So, lalarate lang natin na 5x. Yun. So, we're done with our first line. Second line. So, for second line, we're given with x and k. So, we have here again, y is equal to your kx. So, if you have your k, which is 6, and your x, which is, your k is 8, and your x is 6. So, to find your y is 8 times 6, which is 48. So, 48 yung ating y. Now, the constant, ito na yung ating constant, 8. So, i-rewrite lang natin. So, the equation is y is equal to 8x. Next. So, yun po sa second line. Tapos na tayo. Third line. So, for third line, you're given with y and the equation. So, your equation is y is equal to 2x. And our y is 30. So, ang gagawin lang natin, divide both sides by 2 to get the value of our x. So, that means the x is 30 divided by 2, 15. Then, our constant k, ayun lang po, yung kasama nung equation, which is 2. Number 4. Tapos na tayo sa third line. Fourth line, ito naman natin sasagutan. So, punta muna tayo sa k para madali. Ang k lang natin is yung 5. Kasama lang siya ng equation. Then, for our x, so, our equation is y is equal to 5x squared. Our y is 72. And then, we have 5x squared. So, simply divide both sides by 5. That is 72 over 5. Dahil naka-x squared pa siya, katulad ng nakita nyo sa ating equation, divide both ay kuhanin natin ng square root. So, the value of x here is square root of 72 over 5. There is a simpler way pa para makuha natin itong x, but since we are not yet on the lesson on radicals, accept muna natin ang answer na ganito. Pero again, dahil naka-squared siya, para makuha natin yung value ng x, we have to get the square root. So, we have here square root of 72 over 5. Pero yung sa book, hindi ko alam kung perfect square ang magiging sagot natin. So, yan po. Para masagot natin yung learning task 1A. Paano naman yung learning task 1B? Learning task 1B naman is inverse. So, y varies inversely as x. At para makuha natin yung ating constant, we simply multiply y and x. So, sa una ng line po natin, again, per line ang sagot natin. First line, ang nawawala is constant. So, we need to get the constant by multiplying y and x. So, first line, our y is 13. And our x is 2. So, 13 times 2, we have 26. So, yung ating constant. And for our equation, just simply going to write y is equal to 26x. Y is equal to 26x. Yun. Then, so tayo sa first line. Second line naman po. So, sa ating second line, ang nawawala ay y. So, kuhain natin yung equation natin. Y is equal to k over x. Sa ating given, ang k ay 48 at ang ating x ay 8. So, 48 divided by 8, ang ating y ay 6. Ang equation, ito na yung ating constant. So, susulat lang natin. Y is equal to 48 over x. Ito yung pala 26 over x. I'm sorry. So, natin yun kasi inverse nga pala ito. So, this must be 26 over x. Ito rin po. Tuloy natin yan. Must be 26 over x. Yan. At least tama po natin. Next. So, po sa tayo second line, third line. So, for our third line, we're given with y and the equation. So, the equation is y is equal to 30 over x. As ang y daw ay 12. So, susulat lang natin. So, 12 is equal to 30 over x. So, either x or y, pag inverse, ay magdi-divide po tayo. So, to find that, so x is equal to 30 over 12. Since we cannot divide, kuha natin ang lowest term niya. So, both 30 and 12 ay divisible sa 3. So, divide lang natin. So, 30 divided by 3 is 10. 12 divided by 3 ay 4, which we can simplify further. So, 10 divided by 2, that's 5. 4 divided by 2. So, our lost term, so that's 5 over 2. And our constant of the variation, kitang-kita po natin, which is 30. Dito rin po, ang constant of the variation natin ay 36. So, i-compute na lang natin dito is yung y. So, we have here y is equal to 36 over x naman. Then, we have there y is equal to ang 36 over ang x natin ay 9. So, 36 divided by 9, the value of y is 4. And they're done now. So, I hope na intindihan po natin kung paano natin sasagutan yung learning task 1 natin on our module for lesson 1. Ngayon, meron din tayong learning task 4 where we have a problem solving. So, paano naman tayo mag-solve ng problem solving involving direct and inverse variation? So, tingnan natin yung mga example. So, we have here one example. So, from the Hooke's law, an elastic spring states that the distance of a spring stretch varies directly as the force applied. So, pag nagagawa po tayo, kuha muna tayo ng equation. So, yung distance, let's say the distance is d. Natin d. Of a spring varies directly. So, kailangan may k lagi tayo. As the force. Pwede natin lagay F for force. Force applied. And then, we need first to get the constant. Lagi yun ang unahan natin. Since it's direct, para makuha ang constant, that is d over f. Laging divide. Itong ating unang variable over sa pangalawang variable. Next. So, kukuhanin na natin yung constant. Where yung unang distance natin ay 5 centimeters. And then, the force is 160 newtons. So, we have here 5 centimeters over 160 newtons. Mamaya natin ilagay ang kanyang unit. So, we can simplify this. 5 over 160. This is 1 over 32. for the constant. Ngayon, balik tayo dun sa equation natin. D is equal to Kf. So, D, ang ating constant now is 1 over 32F. Then, para makuha natin, how much will a force? So, force itong given natin. Force of 368 newtons stretch the same spring. So, substitute lang natin 1 over 32. Ang ating force ay 368 newtons. So, ilang centimeters daw yan? So, we have 368 over 32. Okay, and when we get the lowest term of this, that is 23 over 2, or when we divide, since we're talking about the length, that is 11.5 centimeters. So again, ang una natin gagawin, kuhanin natin yung equation. Kukuha tayo ng specific na equation from the first statement. Tingnan natin kung varies directly ba siya, varies inversely, jointly. Titingnan natin. So this one is varies directly, so that's why we have a linear equation here na K, then the F dahil sa force. Then ang una nating hahanapin lagi is the constant. After finding the constant, we can directly substitute it with the equation and then find out kung ang kinukuha is yung unang variable or yung pangalawang variable. It depends upon the problem. Let's have an example now of inverse. Okay, we have here the force F. Sabihin natin F. Needed to break a board varies now inversely now. Inversely to. So, K instead na straight. So, we have over with the length L. So, dito may nakalagay ng variable. May mga problems na nakalagay ng variable. May mga problems na ikaw ang mag-a-assign. So, dito, inversely with the length of the board. So, again, this is inversely. So, to find the constant, multiply tayo ng dalawang variables. So, that's F and L. Then, kukuhanin muna natin yung constant based on our next statement. If it takes 24 pounds of pressure, okay, to break a board of 2 feet long. So, ang ating force is 24. Then, the pressure is, it will take 2. So, 24 times 2, the constant is 48. So, balik tayo doon. So, it's now force is equal to 48 over L. There's the length. Next, the question is how many pounds? So, pressure would it take to break a board which is 5 feet long? So, yung 5 feet long, that is the length. So, hanapin natin yung force. 48 over the length is 5. So, if we're going to divide this, para makuha natin yung 4, 48 divided by 6, 48 divided by 5, that is around 9.6. So, 9.6 pounds. So, again, pag solve natin ng problem, tingnan po natin yung mga keywords na ginamit. Gagawa natin na equation, hahanapin po si constant, substitute the constant on the equation, and then find out kung ano ang hinahanap sa problem. It may be the first variable or it may be the second variable that is missing. So, titingnan po natin maigi kung ano yung hinahanap. Okay? So, to end this one, let's have this quote. My happiness grows in direct proportion to my acceptance and in inverse proportion to my expectation. So, if I'm going to accept everything directly, mas magiging masaya. And inversely with my expectation. So, if mas mababa yung expectation ko, mas mataas yung happiness ko. And I hope you learned something new for today. That is for our week 1, lesson 1 for our second quarter. Thank you and God bless.